After 3 decades of careful communication with alien civilizations, humanity finally received what they had been waiting for: an official invitation to join the Galactic Council. The news spread across Earth like wildfire, dominating every screen and conversation from the crowded streets of New Delhi to the orbital habitats circling Mars. Ambassador Elena Reyes stood at the viewport of her office in the United Earth Diplomatic Center, watching the golden sunset over Geneva. At 53, with streaks of silver in her black hair, she had spent most of her career preparing for this moment. The president's call had come just an hour ago, selecting her to lead humanity's first official delegation to the Council. "Are you ready for this responsibility, Ambassador?" the president had asked. Elena had simply nodded. "I've been ready my whole life." Now, as her AI assistant Aria projected the travel plans to Proxima Centauri, Elena studied the faces of her selected team members floating in holographic displays around her office. "Display full dossier on Lieutenant Commander Jackson Chen," she said. The image of a serious-looking man in his 40s expanded. Military attaché, cybernetic sensory enhancements, decorated veteran of the Mars Rebellion. His eyes had been replaced with advanced sensors that could detect energy signatures and analyze structural compositions beyond normal human abilities. Dr. Maya Williams. The hologram shifted to show a woman with dark brown skin and curly hair pulled back into a tight bun. One of Earth's leading xenobiologists, specialized in genetic comparison between Earth life and the dozen alien biologies humans had encountered so far. Dr. Sanjay Kapoor, a thin man with a neatly trimmed beard, appeared. Quantum physics specialist, responsible for 3 major breakthroughs in faster-than-light communication technology. Elena nodded to herself. These people represented the best of humanity: intelligent, dedicated, and cautious. They would need all 3 qualities for what lay ahead. "Aria, send confirmation of our team roster to the president's office," Elena said. "Confirmed, Ambassador," the AI's smooth voice responded. "The diplomatic vessel Athena is being prepared for departure in 3 days. Council representatives have transmitted docking instructions for the Proxima Centauri station." The journey took 16 days aboard the Athena. Though equipped with the latest jump drive, the ship maintained a deliberately modest profile. Earth's true technological capabilities remained classified, standard procedure when meeting with potentially more advanced civilizations. As they approached the massive ring station orbiting Proxima Centauri, Elena gathered her team in the ship's conference room. "Remember," she told them, "we represent all of humanity. We're here to listen, learn, and evaluate. The Council claims to have 27 member species. We know details about only 8 of them. Stay alert, but diplomatic, Lieutenant." Commander Chen nodded, his artificial eyes adjusting with a soft click. "The station's power signature is massive, much larger than they described in the briefing materials." "Noted," Elena replied. "Dr. Williams, Dr. Kapoor, I want you both analyzing everything they show us. What they reveal and what they don't will tell us a lot." The docking procedure was seamless. As the airlock doors opened, Elena straightened her navy blue uniform and stepped forward to meet the welcoming party. The delegation that greeted them included representatives from 5 different species. Leading them was a tall, slender being with pale blue skin and 4 arms. Each movement it made seemed precisely calculated, elegant, yet somehow mechanical. "Ambassador Reyes," it said in perfect English, "I am High Speaker Orlandix of the Galactic Council. We welcome humanity to our community of civilizations." Elena performed the diplomatic bow that had been recommended in the Council's preparation materials. "High Speaker, we are honored by your invitation and eager to learn more about the Council and its members." The welcoming ceremony lasted 3 hours. The station's central chamber was enormous, with a domed ceiling displaying a real-time map of Council space. Hundreds of star systems connected by glowing lines representing established trade and travel routes. Delegates from various species presented gifts and formal greetings. Throughout it all, Elena maintained her diplomatic smile while carefully observing every detail. The subtle hierarchies between species became apparent in who spoke first, who stood where, who deferred to whom. The council presented itself as an equal partnership, but Elena had spent decades reading the body language of humans from different cultures. The patterns were different here, but the concept was the same. There was a pecking order, and the newcomers were clearly expected to start at the bottom. During the reception that followed, Dr. Williams moved close to Elena while appearing to admire a floating sculpture. "They're scanning us," she whispered. "Continuous biological monitoring, far more intensive than they disclosed in the protocols." Elena nodded slightly, maintaining her pleasant expression as she accepted a glass of something that resembled blue, champagne from a hovering service drone. Later, as they were shown to their quarters, Lieutenant Commander Chen fell into step beside her. "The station has defensive capabilities built into its structure," he murmured. "My sensors detect weapon emplacements concealed throughout the public areas. Nothing in the briefing materials mentioned internal defense systems of this magnitude." Elena's concern deepened, but she kept her face neutral. Their quarters were spacious and comfortable, clearly designed to accommodate human preferences. Too perfectly designed, in fact. It suggested extensive study of human psychology and physiology before contact had been established. That night, after scanning their rooms for surveillance devices and finding several, the team gathered in a secure communication field generated by Dr. Kapoor's equipment. "Initial impressions?" Elena asked. "They're hiding something," Chen said immediately. "The power distribution on this station doesn't match its stated purpose. There are sealed sections comprising at least 40% of the total structure." Dr. Williams nodded. "The biological diversity is impressive, but have you noticed how the member species all seem to fill specific niches? Almost like they've been selected for complementary functions rather than developing independently. The technology they've shown us is advanced," Dr. Kapoor added, "but deliberately so. It feels like a carefully curated display rather than a working environment." Elena processed their observations, comparing them with her own. The formal negotiations would begin tomorrow, but she already had a growing sense of unease. Something about the council's perfect hospitality felt rehearsed, as if they had done this many times before. Later, alone in her room, Elena activated her secure personal communicator. It connected directly to Earth through quantum entanglement, impossible to intercept or track. She composed her message carefully. First impressions concerning. Council presentation highly orchestrated, detecting significant technological capabilities, beyond what was disclosed. Most troubling is the interpersonal dynamics between species. They're not looking for partners, they're looking for subjects, proceeding with caution. Reyes out. As she encrypted and sent the message, Elena looked out at the alien stars visible through her viewport. Humanity had waited generations for this moment, dreaming of joining a larger community among the stars. Now that the moment had arrived, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were walking into something much more complicated than a simple diplomatic alliance. Morning came quickly on the council station, with lights gradually brightening to simulate dawn. Elena woke already alert, her mind processing yesterday's observations. Today, the real talks would begin. Her team gathered for breakfast in their private dining area. The food looked like Earth dishes but had been created using alien ingredients, almost right but not quite. "Did everyone sleep well?" Elena asked, her tone casual but her eyes sending a different message. Lieutenant Commander Chen tapped his ear briefly, their signal that he had detected new surveillance devices overnight. "Very comfortable beds," he said. "Though I noticed the air circulation changed patterns several times." Dr. Williams nodded. "I had strange dreams. Something about the artificial gravity feels different from our ships." Dr. Kapoor was typing notes on his tablet. "The station rotates at precisely the rate needed to create Earth-normal gravity. Very considerate of our hosts." Too considerate, Elena thought. Every comfort provided, every need anticipated. It felt like being studied rather than welcomed. "Hi." Speaker Orlandix arrived with perfect timing as they finished eating. "I trust you rested well, Ambassador Reyes. We have adjusted all environmental controls to match Earth standards." Very comfortable, thank you, Elena replied. We're eager to begin the formal discussions. Orlandix led them through curving corridors to the council chamber, a massive room with a circular table surrounded by seats designed for various body types. Representatives from all 27 member species were present, their diverse forms creating a living display of galactic biodiversity. Today we discuss the integration protocols, Orlandix announced once everyone was seated. As potential new members, humans must understand the rights and responsibilities of council membership. Large holographic displays appeared above the table, showing complex documents in multiple languages. The English version floated directly in front of Elena. The first protocol concerns technology sharing, said a reptilian being introduced as Trade Minister Zex. All member species contribute to and benefit from the Council's shared knowledge base. Elena read carefully as the document scrolled. Section 3.7 requires Earth to submit all technological developments for Council review before implementation. A mere formality, Zex replied, waving a clawed hand. For safety and compatibility standards, Dr. Kapoor raised his hand. What happens if the Council does not approve a technology? Then obviously it cannot be developed, said another Council member, as if explaining to a child. But this rarely happens. The Council is very progressive. Elena noticed the looks exchanged between several alien representatives, something between amusement and condescension. She made a note to discuss this later with her team. The morning continued with presentations about trade agreements, defense pacts, and resource allocation. Each topic seemed reasonable on the surface, but Elena noticed a pattern. Earth would be expected to contribute significantly while having limited decision-making power for at least 50 years, classified as a developing member. During the IDIZ lunch break, High Speaker Orlandix offered to show them more of the station. You've seen our diplomatic facilities, but there's much more. Would you like to tour our scientific section? We would be honored, Elena replied. The science facilities were impressive. Vast laboratories filled with equipment both recognizable and completely alien. Dr. Williams was particularly interested in the xenobiology lab, where specimens from hundreds of worlds were being studied. While the others asked questions about various research projects, Lieutenant Commander Chen quietly moved beside Elena. Ambassador, he whispered, my sensors are detecting massive energy signatures behind that wall. It's not on any station schematic they've shown us. Elena nodded slightly. High Speaker, she called. What facilities are located through that corridor? Orlandix's four hands made a flowing gesture. Merely power regulation systems, nothing of interest to guests. Now let me show you our cultural preservation wing. We've already begun collecting human artistic works. Elena allowed herself to be guided away, but not before noticing how quickly several security personnel moved to position themselves near the corridor in question. Later that afternoon, during a presentation about population optimization protocols, Dr. Williams asked to be excused. No one thought much of it. Sitting through hours of technical documents was exhausting, but when they returned to their quarters that evening, Dr. Williams was waiting with important news. I accessed their xenobiology database, she said once. Dr. Kapoor's security field was active. They left me alone with a terminal for 10 minutes. Apparently, they don't think much of human computer skills. What did you find? Elena asked. The protection treaties they're offering would effectively surrender our genetic research sovereignty. But more importantly, I found records of 3 other species who joined the Council in the last century. Look at these population graphs. She displayed images showing how the populations of these 3 species had declined significantly after Council membership. Their home planets now showed massive resource extraction operations. They've been reduced to client states, Chen said grimly. Their military forces absorbed into Council peacekeeping units, their governments replaced with Council administrators. Dr. Kapoor looked troubled. During the technology sharing presentation, I noticed Earth would be required to halt several areas of research, particularly dimensional physics and artificial intelligence integration. Areas where we're making rapid progress, Elena noted. Their discussion was interrupted by an incoming transmission from Earth. heavily encrypted, and sent through their secure quantum channel. The face of Earth's security director appeared. Ambassador Reyes, we have critical information. Our independent cyber team managed to breach some outer layers of Council data repositories. They have a classification system for potential member species. Humanity is listed under Species Management. Protocol 7, the same designation used for 3 other civilizations before they were fully incorporated and effectively subjugated. Elena's expression remained calm, but her mind was racing. Understood. How should we proceed? Continue negotiations while revealing nothing. We need time. Earth's defense preparations are accelerating. The planetary shield grid will be operational, within months instead of years. The hidden fleet is nearly ready. After the transmission ended, Elena looked at her team. It seems we weren't invited because of diplomatic progress. The Council sees our technological development as a potential threat. They want to control us before we become too advanced, Dr. Kapoor said. But we're already more advanced than they realize, Chen added. Our public technology level is deliberately understated. A soft chime announced a visitor. Elena deactivated the security field, and the team quickly adopted casual postures as the door slid open. High Speaker Orlandic stood there, all forearms clasped in what they had learned was a gesture of urgency. Ambassador Reyes, I hope I'm not interrupting. The Council has convened a special session. We are most eager to accelerate your membership process. There are security concerns that make it imperative for Earth to formally accept our protection as soon as possible. Elena smiled diplomatically. Of course, High Speaker. We understand the importance of these talks. Rest assured, we are giving them our full attention. As Orlandix left, the team exchanged glances. The Council was getting impatient, and impatient powers made mistakes. Elena needed to buy more time while revealing nothing of humanity's true readiness. The game was getting dangerous, but for the first time, she felt they might have an advantage the Council hadn't anticipated. Humanity had never trusted easily, and that caution might now be their greatest strength. The special Council session began early the next morning. Elena and her team entered the Grand Chamber to find all 27 species represented, their attention focused entirely on the humans. Ambassador Reyes, High Speaker Orlandix began, we have prepared an accelerated membership package for Earth. The Council feels that rapid integration is in everyone's best interest. Elena kept her expression neutral. We appreciate the Council's enthusiasm, High Speaker. However, proper consideration of such important agreements cannot be rushed. A large insectoid being leaned forward. With respect, Ambassador, there are security concerns. 2 non-Council civilizations have been detected approaching the borders of Council space. Your world would be vulnerable without our protection. What civilizations are these? Elena asked. The various Council members exchanged glances. That information is classified until Earth becomes a full member, Orlandix said smoothly. But rest assured the threat is significant. Elena nodded thoughtfully. I understand. Perhaps we could review the defense protocols in more detail today. As the session proceeded, Dr. Kapoor analyzed the technical specifications of the Council's defense systems. They were impressive, but not as advanced as the Council seemed to believe. In several areas, particularly shield harmonics and energy weapon focusing, Earth's classified military technology had already surpassed what was being presented as cutting edge. During a brief recess, Lieutenant Commander Chen approached Elena. Ambassador, I've been mapping the station's power distribution. There's a massive concentration of energy in the lower sections, far more than needed for normal operations. It could be weapons, dimensional technology, or something we haven't encountered before. Elena processed this information. Continue monitoring. Dr. Williams, how are your analyses coming? The xenobiologist looked troubled. I've been reviewing the medical protocols. Under Council membership, all humans would be required to receive certain protective treatments. The genetic implications are concerning. These treatments would make subtle changes to human biology over generations. What kind of changes? Helena asked. Reduced aggression, increased compliance, slightly diminished creativity in certain cognitive areas. Dr. Williams replied quietly. Nothing immediately noticeable, but over a century or two. A chime indicated the end of the recess. As they returned to their seats, Elena's secure communicator vibrated against her wrist. A message from Earth. Critical update, eyes only. She would have to wait until they returned to their quarters to read it. The afternoon session focused on technology sharing protocols. The council representatives seemed particularly interested in Earth's progress in artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Our records indicate your AI development is still in primitive stages, said a reptilian council member. You will benefit greatly from our guidance in this area. Dr. Kapoor caught Elena's eye. They both knew this was false. Earth's AI systems, like Aria, Elena's assistant, were far more advanced than the council realized. Human AIs had achieved true synthetic consciousness over a decade ago, a development kept secret from the broader galaxy. When they finally returned to their quarters that evening, Elena immediately activated the security field and checked her communicator. The team gathered around as she displayed the message. Ambassador Reyes, began Earth's Secretary General, our intelligence teams have made a breakthrough. The Council's own records reveal why Earth was invited to join now, after decades of preliminary contact. It's not diplomatic progress, it's fear. The message continued with shocking details. Earth's technological advancement had begun to accelerate at a rate that worried the Council's ruling species. Historical records showed a pattern. The Council incorporated potentially threatening civilizations before they developed certain key technologies. Once inside the Council system, these civilizations were carefully managed and their development controlled. Most concerning, the Secretary General continued, they don't know how far we've actually progressed. Our information security protocols have been effective. They're unaware of our breakthroughs in dimensional physics, AI integration, and quantum weaponry. Dr. Kapoor looked stunned. They don't know we're already past the technology thresholds they fear. Exactly, Elena said. They think they're catching us early enough to control our development. Lieutenant Commander Chen's artificial eyes whirred softly as they adjusted. This changes everything. If they knew our true capabilities, they would see us as an immediate threat rather than a future one, Elena finished. Dr. Williams shook her head. The other species they've subjected to, these integration protocols, they were probably at similar stages of development. The final part of Earth's message was the most important. The Hidden Fleet is ready. Planetary defense grid completed 3 years ahead of schedule. All colonies on secure alert. Extraction team on standby near Proxima Centauri if diplomatic. Withdrawal becomes necessary. Elena looked at her team. We need to decide our next move. Continue the charade or reveal that we know their true intentions. If we reveal what we know, said Dr. Kapoor, they might take hostile action immediately. If we continue pretending, countered Dr. Williams, we risk agreeing to something that could harm Earth. Lieutenant Commander Chen offered a third option. We could request time to consult with Earth's governments, a reasonable diplomatic delay. Meanwhile, we prepare for rapid departure if needed. Elena nodded slowly. We maintain the facade while preparing to leave. I'll inform Earth to have the extraction team ready in 6 hours. Just as they finished speaking, their door chimed. Elena deactivated the security field as Dr. Kapoor quickly erased all signs of their communication. High Speaker Orlandix entered with 2 security officers. Ambassador Reyes, the Council wishes to invite you to a special ceremony tomorrow. We are prepared to grant Earth provisional membership status immediately. Elena smiled diplomatically. That's a generous offer, High Speaker. However, protocol requires I consult with Earth's united government before accepting such an honor. Orlandix's 4 hands made an elaborate gesture. Of course. However, we must insist on expediting the process. Certain security matters have become more urgent. After Orlandix left, Chen checked for new surveillance devices. They've added more monitoring equipment, and those security officers were carrying concealed weapons. They're getting nervous, Elena said. They sense we're not as eager as they expected. Dr. Williams looked out the viewport at the stars. We came here hoping to join a peaceful community of worlds. Instead, we found would-be masters. Earth has never accepted masters, Elena replied quietly. And we won't start now. She activated her secure communicator one last time. Prepare for extraction. The council isn't what we hoped, and we are more than they bargained for. As she sent the message, Elena felt an odd sense of calm. Humanity had spent centuries believing they might be the weakest species in the galaxy when they finally made contact. That fear had driven them to prepare, to advance, to develop technologies in secret. Now that caution might save them from becoming just another managed species in the Council's collection. Tomorrow would reveal whether they could leave peacefully, or whether departure would require more dramatic measures. Elena woke before the artificial dawn, her mind already racing with plans. Today would be crucial. She gathered her team early before any council representatives could arrive. We need to be prepared for any scenario, she told them quietly. Dr. Kapoor, activate your most aggressive countermeasures against their surveillance. The physicist nodded and activated a small device that emitted a barely audible hum. This will feed them a loop of normal conversation. We have about 10 minutes of secure talk. Elena looked at each team member. Our extraction team is in position. The Athena's systems have been quietly upgraded by engineering teams during the night. We now have two options: continue diplomatic efforts to leave peacefully, or prepare for a more abrupt departure. What's our timeline? Asked Chen. 6 hours maximum, Elena replied. Earth intelligence indicates increased council, fleet movement throughout their territory. They're positioning ships near human outposts, officially for joint exercises, but the pattern suggests containment. Dr. Williams looked concerned. Do you think they suspect our true technological level? Not yet, Elena said. But they're growing suspicious of our reluctance to accept their generous offer of subjugation. They spent the next minutes reviewing emergency protocols and memorizing extraction routes through the station. As they finished, Dr. Kapoor's device flashed once. Surveillance is back online, he warned, just in time. The door chimed, and High Speaker Orlandix entered with a larger security detail than before. Ambassador Reyes, the alien said smoothly, the full council has convened for a special session. Your presence is requested immediately. Elena noticed the security officers were now openly carrying weapons. Of course, High Speaker, my team and I would be honored to attend. The council chamber felt different today. The lighting was dimmer, and Elena noticed additional security personnel stationed around the perimeter. All 27 council representatives were present, many looking tense, or whatever passed for tension in their various physiologies. High Speaker Orlandix took the central position. Ambassador Reyes, the council has completed its deliberations. Regarding Earth's membership, we are pleased to present our final offer. A holographic document appeared before Elena, dense with text and complex diagrams. The terms are generous, continued Orlandix. Immediate technology transfers, protection of all human settlements, and full integration into council economic systems. Elena scanned the document quickly, her diplomatic training allowing her to spot the concerning clauses immediately. Council oversight of all human military assets. Mandatory population optimization protocols. Restrictions on independent research in dozens of scientific fields. This wasn't membership, it was surrender. High Speaker, Elena said carefully. These terms require careful consideration. I must consult with Earth's governments before that will not be necessary, interrupted a reptilian council member. We have prepared a direct communication channel to your leaders. They can confirm your authority to accept these terms immediately. Elena maintained her calm expression. Protocol requires formal review by our full governing body. Surely the council respects Earth's sovereign processes. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some council members looked uncomfortable. Orlandix's forehands made a sharp, dismissive gesture. Ambassador, perhaps you misunderstand the situation. The council has detected potentially hostile non-member civilizations approaching sectors near your home system. Earth requires immediate protection. What civilizations are these? Elena asked. We've detected no such approach. Your detection capabilities are limited, said Orlandix with what might have been a smile. Trust in the Council's superior technology. Lieutenant Commander Chen stepped forward. With respect, High Speaker, Earth would like to verify this threat independently. A tense silence fell over the chamber. Then Orlandix spoke, his voice colder than before. It seems our human friends require additional assurance of our serious intentions. He activated a large holographic display in the center of the chamber. It showed a star map of Council space, with Earth's solar system highlighted at the edge. Around it, dozens of small icons pulsed. For your protection, the Council has already dispatched peacekeeping vessels to key positions near your outposts, Orlandix explained. They stand ready to defend Earth against any threat, or to ensure compliance with Council directives. The threat was unmistakable. Elena exchanged glances with her team. This had just escalated from diplomatic pressure to military coercion. See, Elena said, her voice perfectly controlled. And these peacekeepers are already in position? Most will arrive within days, said Orlandix. Some are already near your outer colonies. This protection is non-negotiable. The only question is whether Earth accepts willing membership or required guidance. Elena stood tall, her decision made. High Speaker Orlandix, members of the Council, I must be clear. Earth came here seeking friendship between equals, not subordination. These terms are unacceptable. Gasps and murmurs erupted around the chamber. Several council members looked shocked. Apparently no species had ever rejected their generous offer before. Orlandix's color darkened slightly. Ambassador Reyes, perhaps you should reconsider your position. Isolated species rarely survive in this galaxy. Elena looked directly at him, her voice calm but firm. We're not isolated. We're independent. And it seems we've been overestimating your Federation. As she spoke, she subtly activated the emergency transmitter hidden in her uniform pin, the signal for their extraction team to move into position. The Council has existed for millennia, said another Council member, voice rising. Hundreds of species have joined us and prospered under our guidance. Prospered? Dr. Williams stepped forward. Like the Nalari, whose population has declined by 60% since joining, or the Vexar, whose homeworld is now little more than a mining operation. Silence fell again, heavier this time. You've been accessing restricted data, Orlandix said, his voice dangerous. That is a serious violation of Council protocols. We haven't agreed to your protocols, Elena replied. And we will not agree to terms that would effectively end human independence. Orlandix turned to the security officers. Ambassador Reyes and her team will return to their quarters while the Council discusses this unexpected development. They will remain there until summoned. Elena recognized a detention order when she heard one. We will return to our ship, she countered. These talks have clearly reached an impasse. That is not possible, Orlandix said. For security reasons, all visiting vessels are temporarily locked down during special Council sessions. Lieutenant. Commander Chen's artificial eyes whirred softly as they adjusted, scanning the chamber. Ambassador, he said quietly. Additional security forces are moving into position outside. Elena made her decision. High Speaker, Council members, let me be clear. Humanity will not be joining the Council under these terms. We came seeking friends, not masters. She activated her emergency transmitter's second function, sending an immediate alert to the Athena. Their departure would now have to be expedited. Orlandix stepped closer, towering over Elena. You have no choice in this matter, Ambassador. The Council has decided Earth will join. The only question is how difficult you wish to make the process. Elena looked up at him, unintimidated. There is always a choice, High Speaker, and humanity has never responded well to threats. As security officers moved toward them, Elena gave a subtle nod to her team. Dr. Kapoor activated a small device on his wrist, and Dr. Williams reached into her pocket. The Council was about to discover that The humans they thought to subjugate had come far better prepared than anyone could have expected. The council chamber erupted into chaos. As security officers moved toward the human delegation, Dr. Williams tossed a small sphere into the air. It burst with a flash of light, momentarily blinding everyone except the humans. Lieutenant Commander Chen had activated his cybernetic eye's protective filters just in time. "Move, now," Elena commanded, leading her team toward the exit. Two security officers blocked their path. Before they could raise their weapons, Chen stepped forward with surprising speed. His military training was enhanced by subtle cybernetic implants that the Council had never detected. Both officers were unconscious before they hit the floor. "Ambassador," Orlandix shouted, recovering from the flash faster than the others. "This is an act of aggression against the Council." "This is an act of self-defense," Elena called back as they reached the doorway. "You threatened our world and attempted to detain us against our will." Dr. Kapoor activated another device on his wrist. Throughout the station, electronic systems flickered as a targeted electromagnetic pulse disrupted security protocols. Doors that should have locked remained open. Alarm systems failed to activate. "The Council has never failed to integrate a species once invited," Orlandix called after them, his voice filled with disbelief. "You cannot simply leave." "Watch us," Elena replied. The corridor outside was filled with confusion as various species reacted to the sudden electronic disruptions. The human team moved quickly, following the evacuation route they had memorized. Dr. Williams consulted a small handheld scanner. "More security forces converging from the left junction," she warned. "Alternative Route B," Elena decided instantly. "Chen, take point." Lieutenant Commander Chen led them down a service corridor that most station residents didn't even know existed. His cybernetic eyes had mapped these hidden pathways during their tour days earlier, detecting subtle differences in wall density and power conduits. "Ambassador," Dr. Kapoor said as they ran, "the Athena reports all docking clamps have been engaged. They're trying to physically lock our ship in place." Elena had expected this. "Activate protocol severance." Back on their ship, Captain Rivera received Elena's command and entered a special authorization code. Throughout the Athena, hidden systems came online, systems not included in any documentation shared with the Council. In the docking bay, the ship's exterior shimmered as specialized cutting fields activated, precisely severing the Council's docking clamps from their moorings. Alarms blared as atmosphere began venting from the damaged docking tube. "Emergency bulkheads closing in the dock," Dr. Kapoor reported, reading updates from his handheld device. "The Athena is free, but surrounded by station defense systems." They reached a maintenance junction where 3 corridors met. Suddenly, a group of security officers appeared ahead, weapons raised. "Halt immediately," their leader ordered. Elena stepped forward, hands raised. "We are diplomatic representatives of Earth. We demand safe passage to our vessel. By order of the Council, you are detained pending." The officer never finished his sentence. From behind the human delegation, a bright flash of energy cut through the air. The security team dove for cover as more energy blasts forced them back. 3 humans in sleek combat armor appeared from the connecting corridor, their weapons trained on the retreating officers. "Ambassador Reyes," the lead soldier said, her helmet visor lifting. "Extraction Team Alpha, we've secured a path to docking tube 7. The Athena is repositioning there now." "Perfect timing, Commander Singh," Elena replied. The extraction team had been hiding on the station for days, disguised as maintenance workers. Another secret the Council had failed to detect. As they hurried toward the new rendezvous point, station-wide announcements blared in multiple languages. "Security alert. Unauthorized departure in progress. All Council security forces converge on docking section 7. They're mobilizing everything they have," Commander Singh warned. "And the station's defense weapons are coming online." Elena nodded grimly. As expected, time for our final surprise. They reached docking tube 7 just as the Athena completed its repositioning. Through the large viewing ports, Elena could see Council security vessels beginning to surround their ship. "They still think we're helpless," she said quietly. As if in response to her words, 3 massive shapes appeared in space near the station, their stealth systems deactivating to reveal human battle cruisers. The HMS Defiant, Sovereign, and Intrepid, advanced warships that officially didn't exist. On the Athena's bridge, Captain Rivera opened a channel to all Council vessels. "This is Captain Elena Rivera of the Earth diplomatic vessel Athena. Our delegation is returning to the ship. Any attempt to prevent our departure will be considered an act of war. The Earth vessels Defiant, Sovereign, and Intrepid stand ready to ensure our safe passage." In the Council's command center, controllers stared in disbelief at their screens. Where had these ships come from? How had they approached undetected? Most importantly, how had a supposedly developing civilization built vessels with technology that matched or exceeded Council standards? "Impossible," High Speaker Orlandix whispered, watching the massive human warships position themselves in a protective formation. Their technological level was assessed at barely interstellar. These vessels have advanced stealth systems, weapons capabilities we can't even scan properly. A junior council member turned to him in panic. "High Speaker, should we engage?" Orlandix wasn't a fool. The human ships had taken positions that maximized their tactical advantage. If the Council vessels fired, they would likely be destroyed before they could inflict significant damage. "Stand down," he ordered. "Let them go." Elena and her team reached the airlock just as Commander Singh received word from the extraction team's rear guard. "Large Council security force approaching 2 minutes out," she reported. "Everyone aboard now," Elena ordered. Once inside the Athena, they moved quickly to the bridge. Captain Rivera was already preparing for emergency departure. "Ambassador, on deck," someone announced as Elena entered. "Status report," she demanded. "Council vessels are holding position," Rivera said. "Our escorts have created a departure corridor. We can break free at your command." Elena took one last look at the massive Council station on the main view screen. She had come hoping to join a community of equals, a true federation of worlds, working together. Instead, she had found would-be conquerors hiding behind diplomatic niceties. "Take us out, Captain," she ordered, "and open a channel to all frequencies." As the Athena's engines powered up, Elena stood straight and addressed the Council one final time. "This is Ambassador Elena Reyes of Earth. We came seeking friends, not masters. Remember this moment when you wonder why we left." The Athena accelerated away from the station, flanked by the 3 battle cruisers. Behind them, the Council's command structure fell into confusion and argument. No species had ever rejected membership. No delegation had ever escaped. And certainly no supposedly developing civilization had ever revealed such advanced technology and military capability. As the human ships prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, Elena felt a mixture of disappointment and pride. Humanity would not be joining the galactic community today, but neither would they be conquered. "Set course for Earth," she told Captain Rivera. "We have much to report." The stars stretched into lines as the human ships jumped away, leaving behind a council in disarray and a galaxy about to change forever. The Council's massive ring station orbiting Proxima Centauri had never experienced such chaos. Emergency meetings were called as representatives from all 27 member species demanded explanations. How had humans hidden their true technological capabilities? How had 3 warships approached undetected? And most importantly, what would humanity do next? High Speaker Orlandix faced the assembled council, his normally perfect composure shattered. The threat assessment of Earth was incomplete, he admitted. Their public technology level appears to have been deliberately understated. "Deliberately?" shouted a representative from a gaseous species, their translation device barely keeping up with their agitated speech patterns. "They fooled our entire intelligence network." Another council member, a small being with crystalline skin, leaned forward. "The human warships employed stealth technology beyond our detection capabilities. Their weapon systems included designs we've never encountered. This changes everything." In the days that followed, the Council's carefully maintained political order began to fracture. 3 species that had joined the Council most recently began questioning their membership terms. If humans could resist, perhaps they could too. Intelligence reports flooded in from across council space as analysts reevaluated everything they thought they knew about Earth. Human colonies that had appeared to be simple outposts were now revealed to have significant hidden infrastructure. Civilian ships were discovered to have military capabilities. Earth's defensive systems, once thought primitive, now showed signs of being far more advanced than previously believed. They've been preparing for decades, concluded the Council's chief intelligence director. Since their first contact with alien life, they've been quietly building, researching, and advancing, all while presenting themselves as a developing civilization eager for guidance. The fear that spread through Council leadership was palpable. What if humans decided to retaliate? What if they shared their technology with other non-Council worlds? Meanwhile, the Athena and its escort fleet arrived back at Earth to heroes' welcomes. News of the Council's true nature spread quickly through human colonies. Public opinion, once excited about joining the galactic community, now solidly supported independence. In Geneva, Elena Reyes stood before the United Earth Parliament, her diplomatic uniform replaced with formal civilian attire. They expected us to surrender our sovereignty for protection against threats that may not even exist, she told the assembled representatives. When we refused, they attempted to force our compliance. The Galactic Council presents itself as a federation of equals, but in reality it's an empire, with the founding species controlling everything while newer members serve. The Parliament chamber was silent as Elena continued. For centuries, humanity feared we might be alone in the universe. Then we feared we'd be the weakest among many. Today we know the truth. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or resilience. It's that unlike the Council, we still remember how to treat equals as equals. The applause was thunderous. In the weeks that followed, Earth accelerated its defensive preparations. The planetary shield network was completed. Hidden shipyards throughout the solar system increased production. Military outposts near the borders of Council space were reinforced. But humanity didn't just prepare for war. Elena Reyes was appointed Special Envoy for Non-Council Relations, tasked with establishing diplomatic ties with other independent civilizations. The galaxy is bigger than the Council wants anyone to believe, she told her new team. Our scouts have identified at least 7 spacefaring civilizations that have avoided Council contact. It's time we introduced ourselves. Dr. Williams joined her team as xenobiology expert. The Council's approach is fundamentally flawed, she explained during their first mission briefing. They see diversity as something to be managed and controlled. We see it as strength. Lieutenant Commander Chen was promoted to oversee security for the new diplomatic initiative. The Council will be watching our every move, he warned. They fear nothing more than independent worlds cooperating outside their control. Dr. Kapoor, now leading a new division focused on technological information security, developed protocols to share knowledge safely with potential allies. We'll offer genuine partnership, he said, not the false equality the Council provides. Back on the Council station, internal divisions deepened. Several younger member species began demanding renegotiation of their treaties, inspired by Earth's defiance. 3 of the oldest Council members, including Orlandix's species, formed a special committee to address the human problem. They must be contained, Orlandix insisted during a closed session. Their independence sets a dangerous precedent. How? Asked another committee member. Our intelligence now suggests their technology may exceed ours in several crucial areas. Military action could be disastrous. Then we must isolate them diplomatically and economically, Orlandix replied. Ensure no other species allies with them. But the Council's efforts came too late. Earth had already established contact with 2 non-Council civilizations, the Arcani, masters of biological engineering, and the Vorin, experts in zero-point energy. Both had avoided Council attention for centuries and were eager to form alliances with another independent power. Most shocking of all, 3 current Council members secretly approached Earth with proposals for separate treaties. The Tellarites, Morvians, and Indari, all relatively recent additions to the Council, saw in humanity a potential champion against the domination of the founding species. We joined seeking protection and partnership, the Tellarite ambassador, told Elena during a clandestine meeting. Instead, we found subjugation. Your people have shown there's another way. 6 months after humanity's dramatic departure from the Council station, the galaxy was transforming. The monopoly on interstellar relations that the Council had maintained for millennia was cracking. Independent worlds were communicating directly with each other, sharing technology and forming mutual defense pacts. On Earth, the United Parliament approved the foundation of a new organization, the Alliance of Independent Worlds. Unlike the Council, membership would require no surrender of sovereignty, no population optimization, no technological restrictions, just mutual respect and cooperation. Elena Reyes, appointed as Earth's first Alliance Director, looked out at the stars from her office in the newly constructed Alliance headquarters in Geneva. The Council thought we'd be alone and vulnerable without them, she said to Dr. Williams, who had just delivered news of 2 more civilizations seeking membership. They never understood that true strength comes from real cooperation, not control. On her desk lay invitations to 6 more independent worlds, along with intelligence reports that the Council was facing the greatest political crisis in its history. Several member species were now openly challenging the authority of the founding races, demanding reforms inspired by Earth's example. The Council that had existed for thousands of years, absorbing or controlling all spacefaring civilizations it encountered, was now fighting for its future. All because one species, humans, had done what no other had dared, rejected membership, demonstrated hidden strength, and walked away. The talks had indeed ended abruptly. The Council had truly panicked, and the galaxy would never be the same again.